Hello and welcome to This Day with BJ Arnett, and I am she, BJ Arnett. I hope you all are ready to learn something, to get involved with how to live life better, stronger, and possibly richer. And richness has its pluses, yes? Absolutely. Well, our guest today is Robert Watkins, Dr. Robert Watkins. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, BJ.
It's a pleasure to see you again. I've known you for a number of years, so I know exactly what you do. I know your book is Never Chase a Paycheck Again, and I know it's doing very, very well. You've always taught, you've always discussed these things that would help people hold on to their finances instead of seeing them fly right away. So talk to us about the very basic skill you must have in order to maximize the dollar that you keep.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I teach in my seminars and our company is to ensure that they have 7 streams of income. A lot of people put a lot of emphasis on credit scores. Oh my gosh, I have a 600 credit score, 650 credit score, so I can't get the house, I can't get the car, I can't get the credit card, I can't send my kids to school. So it's this whole emotional situation we have with money. But the way to settle all of that is do what Solomon wrote in Ecclesiastes 11:2, to have 7 streams of income. And when you have that, then credit score becomes very minimum.
Yes.
And so now if you can't work for some reason, it's okay. I have 6 other streams of income. So I tell people, let's end the worrying. We have to start there. Let's end the fear, and let's conquer the fear, conquer the worrying. And the way we do that is to ensure that all of our clients and partners and members have at least 7 streams of income.
There's something interesting. You use the word conquer a couple of times. I do know that you are conquerworldwide.com. But when you are conquering, you have to come from a mindset that says there are challenges that will occur, but you are to be strong and courageous within those challenges. Knowledge, the word says the lack of knowledge. That's where the issue comes in, the lack of knowledge. When we gain the knowledge that the word has given us by principle and deed, it's so practical to simply have 7 streams of income, knowing that if one dries, there's 6 others, knowing that you can devote time to each one deliberately. And watch them grow.
Exactly.
But there's something to be said for being able to have a mindset, a sight that's broad enough to see it in a country that does not teach this.
Yeah, our schools doesn't teach it, the world doesn't teach it, and that's why I wrote this book, Never Chase a Paycheck. It's a master class for people to gain the knowledge, to ensure that they have the money that they need to do what is needed for their family. And it's not just about them, it's about your children, your children's children. So we have to have a long view thinking, but it's very difficult when you have an electricity bill that's due next week.
Exactly.
I need groceries next week, right? I have money that I need right now. So we have to get people out of the right now when it comes to financial thinking into a knowledge base that has a longer view. And that starts with a plan. And I think that plan has to, again, go back to some core beliefs and core understandings. People are not taught anymore the basics of how to balance a checkbook, if you will. They're not taught that. So we swipe now, and that's just, hey, there must be money there. We're swiping away. And we don't recognize that there's a subtraction going on every time we're swiping. So there's some basic things that have to be dealt with. Now we're in an age where your bank is not necessarily in your neighborhood, but your bank is something that you go to on your phone and you never see a person, so there's no transaction there. So you're talking about a whole restructuring how you think and how you move. Absolutely.
Where do you begin?
Well, that's a great question. Here's where you start. Let's look at the word plan, P-L-A-N. The P is for prioritize your return on investment. By that I mean, I don't even buy a pair of shoes unless I have maybe a speaking engagement, but there's some sort of return on investment. So if I spend $5, I need $10 back. So I treat my money like a business. The L is for list your passions, skills, and talents. For example, people say, well, you're really good at organizing. Well, maybe you should start a a closet organization company, right? And then the A is to apply my 10-10-10 strategy. Save 10%, invest 10%, and give 10%. If you do that as a cycle, I guarantee you, you'll be at another level financially, just in a matter of months. And then the N is for never stay where you're not valued. So if you never stay where you're not valued, never stay in a relationship, never stay on the job, never stay in any situation where you're not being valued, which means you have to understand your own value, what you bring to the table. And so that's where we start with our thinking. And if you do that PLAN, that's where you start. And things will get better.
Things will get better. Things will start to roll differently.
Yeah.
I know that there are so many systems in the world today to capture your dollars, but not very many systems out there to help you truly expand your dollars. Traditionally, we think we get a 401k, we make sure it's diversified, and we're good to go. And that's not true, because many people, as they approach their 60s, as they approach that point of retirement, they begin to recognize that that money doesn't go as long as they thought. $300,000 is $3 of poverty. That is really no money when you talk about most people are living at the point of their retirement, they're living approximately 15 to 20 years longer. And if we live life the way the word says, at 60, we should have another 60.
Right, it's true.
So how do we make that expansion and that transition? Because there's that transition of the mindset, the get out of that place that you're not valued, the understanding of how to leverage who you are as a brand.
Right, right.
That's a whole lot.
It is.
And okay, now I'm gonna play this woman who is 65 years old. She's just ready to retire. She's saying, hoo-hoo. Her husband just did. Hoo-hoo. But then the checks come in and there's not a hoo-hoo. How do you do that at that point of life?
Well, we have to have some income. We've got to start somewhere. That's why I said there's something, if you spent your life, that 60-year-old woman, as a janitor or as a nurse, right? And at the end of her career, there's no money. Well, is that really your life assignment, to be a nurse? Well, maybe you got into it to help people. So let's help people a different way. There was a gentleman who came in my office, ended up becoming a client. He was facing that same situation. His wife had gotten cancer, but he was a janitor for an elementary school. And so we said, what are you doing with your life? And he said, well, I don't know. So what we discovered was he knew a lot about floors. And so he talked to me for a half hour about floors, the tile, and what chemicals he used. And
what is his number?
Well, I'll tell you.
Exactly.
So what we did was...
Who doesn't want someone who knows who has an expertise?
Right, exactly. So what we did, we put a strategy in place. We said, I want you to draw a 50-mile radius around your home. I want you to list all the hospitals, elementary schools, office buildings, etc. And I want you to go to that property manager and talk to them about floors. Long story short, a year later, he's doing $2.5 million worth of business as a janitor, owning his own floor company, taking care of floors. It was something that was already there. It
was already a passion inside of him. He talked to you for an hour about floors. That kind of tells you. And I always say to people, where your passion lies, that's where
you should direct your life.
You direct your life, because that's the God-given money is right there, where He put your passion. So it is a testimony to just do it the way God said. Don't keep trying to figure it out. It's just simple. Do it the way He does it. It's one of those things, however, that people love to look like they have money versus actually having it. When I think of a lot of and I don't even deal with millionaire, I deal with billion and trillion. I want to know, when I see your name and it says billionaire, I know most likely you're not throwing money anywhere. You're using money to make money. The habits of a billionaire should be the habits that we're looking at, not the habits of someone who is looking on the outside like they have every dollar. But on the backside of it is the house is not owned, it's mortgaged. The car has a payment. Everything has a payment. Ownership means exactly that, am I right?
Exactly.
You don't pay anybody for it.
Right.
It's done.
It's yours.
It's yours.
Most people have not seen their name on a title.
No.
That's why my partner and I, we just bought a brand new office building downtown Atlanta at the corner of Ralph McGill and Cortland, and we paid millions of dollars for it. But it's to educate people and empower people. That's who I am, at the core of who I am. So my passion led me to buy what we call the Conquer Center, and now we have other churches and ministries and TED Talks and conferences that pay us rent to pay us, but we had to own it first of all.
Right.
And so that should be the objective. Should be two objectives for everyone: is to be an owner and to be free. And in Conquer Consulting, my company, that's what we do. We help people to accomplish those two objectives. But most people don't know where to start. So if you're living what I call fake and phony, then you'll never get there.
You'll never
we
get
can't help
there.
You. God can't help you.
No.
This book can't help you. No one can help you if you're flossing and you don't have the real thing. I'd rather have a $2,000 hoopty car that's paid for, that I can see my name on the title.
Exactly.
And live in a $80,000 house that I can pay for, that took me 5 years to pay it off.
Thank you.
And live rich. You're going to be much further ahead than any of your peers.
Any of your peers. And the benefit emotionally and physically is outstanding.
Right.
You know, there is no stress. Right.
Because you're going to have more money.
And you're going to have more money.
Right.
Because you're happier.
Right.
You have no stress running you because you're not running to the job in order to make this amount of money.
And you can have what I call take this job and shove it.
Yes, you can.
Account.
Yes, you can.
Because you can say, you know what? I quit.
Yep.
You don't have the pressure of driving you someplace where you hate, which leads to stress, early death, sickness, etc. So all of those things are scientific fact when you're trapped in debt.
That's right.
And that's why we help as many people as we can.
Oh, I love it. I'm so blessed that my husband and I have been debt-free for many years now. And it took 5 years of lock it down. And we locked it down. We never looked back. But now it's like, I know just what you said. I don't have to be anywhere that I don't want to be.
That's right.
That doesn't drive my passion, which allows me to do exactly what you're doing, to pour into people, to take the time to listen, to take the time to help, and to tell the story that you too can do that.
Absolutely.
And you look back over your life and all the people that contributed to pouring into you, to give you that edge, if you will, because there's what God gives you, but it's so great to come alongside of people, brothers and sisters in Christ, that can, give you that place that says, yes, you're not crazy, brother. You're on the right track.
Sure.
What would you say to someone who's looking at you for you to be that person?
Yeah. Well, I haven't always been Dr. Robert Watkins. I was born into an orphanage in the state of Michigan. I was a ward of the state.
Wow.
I was a legal orphan. Never met my birth mother, never met my birth father. Have no idea who they are. I've been looking for them for 40-something years. But I've been adopted into the family of God, which means that I had to first of all understood my purpose, that I'm not an orphan, that I do have a purpose. And just the mere fact that I'm living and breathing tells me that I'm supposed to be doing something to help other people. That's the first thing I had to understand. And so, but then the second thing had to come in, well, what's the strategy to help me fulfill my purpose? We have to begin there. In Conquer Consulting, we have millionaires and, a lot of people that come and they say, well, why are we talking about my purpose? Because when things get hard, you're going to quit if it's not your purpose.
That's it.
Because money follows purpose. That's the best way to live. And so most people are out there hustling and grinding for money and working for money. And money makes a terrible boss. It makes a great employee. And so, I would tell people, go back to your purpose, go back to what God originally told you to do. Let's put together a strategy that we can do for them, and then we can find money for that.
I love it. There is so much to unearth here. We are in a system that is not our own. Let's go back to the originator of all systems. Let's go back to the Father God, His Word, and it'll all work out. Follow Him, no one else. ConquerWorldwide.com.